There's a moment in every awakening when you stop running. Not because you figured it all out, but because your soul is tired of pretending. You pause, maybe for the first time in a long time, and you look yourself in the eyes. Not to judge, not to fix, but to remember. This is that moment. This is the beginning of your return to who you truly are. Step 1. Awareness of separation. You were born whole, divine, worthy, not missing anything. You didn't have to prove your value. You didn't need to earn love. You were love. But somewhere along the way, you were taught to forget. And that forgetting didn't happen all at once. It happened quietly, slowly. One small moment at a time. Maybe it was the first time someone told you to quiet down. Or the moment someone laughed at your joy. Maybe it was the way adults dismissed your tears. The silence after you asked a big question. The look on someone's face when you showed up fully. And it wasn't safe. Maybe it was when love was withheld. Unless you performed, obeyed, or pleased. And without even realizing it, you began to separate from your voice. From your knowing. From your truth. From your divinity. This is not your fault. The anxiety you feel, the doubt, the self-judgment, the confusion, they are not personal flaws. They are evidence of programming. You were taught a story that was never yours. You were taught that you weren't enough as you are, that love had to be earned, that success meant sacrifice, that if there is a God, it is somewhere far away, watching, judging. And worst of all, you were taught that the power that created all that exists lived outside of you. That if you could just earn their praise, if you could be what they wanted, if you could wear the right mask, follow the right rules, say the right things, look the right way, then maybe, just maybe, you'd finally feel like enough. They told you that validation was the path to peace, that approval meant safety, that fitting in meant belonging. And so you tried. You became the good student, the good child, the achiever. You learned when to shrink in one room and sparkle as yourself when no one was looking. You learned to sense what others wanted and how to become it. You traded pieces of yourself for crumbs of acceptance. You built a false self to survive a false world. And maybe it worked for a while. Maybe you were praised, promoted, liked, or even loved. But inside there was still a hollow ache. Because no matter how hard you tried, it never felt like enough. Because it wasn't real. Because the self you were taught to offer wasn't you. It was the version of you shaped by fear, pressure, and programming. And still the world kept applauding the mask, but that applause never reached your soul. Because deep down, a quieter voice, your real voice, was whispering, "This isn't who I am. There must be more. Why do I feel so far away from myself?" That ache is sacred. It is not something to numb or fix. It is a call to return, to remember that your wholeness never left. It just got buried. beneath the belief that you had to become something, when you were already everything. You were never supposed to chase worth. You were meant to embody it. You were meant to radiate. You are not here to earn your place in the world. You are here to anchor heaven to earth. Through your being, let me tell you a story. Imagine your soul is like a snow globe. Inside is a peaceful, radiant, beautiful scene, your true self. But from the moment you arrived here, people began to shake it. Not because they were bad, because they were shaken too. Every expectation, every shameful glance, every criticism, every time someone projected their own onto you, they stirred up the snow. And soon you couldn't see clearly anymore. Not because your beauty disappeared, but because it got buried. This first step is about letting the snow settle. It's about being still enough to see again, to feel again, to hear the quiet truth of who you've always been. This is not the end, this is the beginning. The sacred beginning of your return. And it begins with truth. Not the kind of truth that hurts, the kind that heals, the kind of truth that says, I have been searching for wholeness out there, but it has always been within me. This is about clarity. It's about seeing how the world shaped you to search outside yourself for everything, when everything you ever needed was already inside. Right now, you have a chance to do something powerful. To stop blaming yourself for the wound. To stop trying to fix yourself. And instead, to see clearly where you were told to leave yourself behind. If you're ready to return to yourself, here's something you can do. Go to a mirror and stand there. Look into your own eyes. Breathe and say, I see you. I see how far you've come. That ache is sacred. It is not something to numb or fix. I see where you've been lost. I forgive you for abandoning yourself. You didn't know better. And I promise I'm coming back. Let it land. Let the words enter you like medicine. Not because you've done something wrong, but because you deserve to be met with love. Another way to remember is through timeline reflection. Write down the moments in your life when you began to disconnect, when you started hiding, when you began to believe you weren't enough. Moments when you performed instead of just being. And next to each one, write, this was the moment I forgot who I was, but now I remember. And if you're holding on to a belief, a lie that separated you from yourself, write it in a letter, title it The Lie I Believed. Say everything and be honest, then destroy it. Let it go with love, because the version of you that's been striving, performing, hiding, or hurting is not the real you. It's the version you became to survive. And the moment you see that, not with shame, but with love, everything changes. You become available to yourself again. You stop running. You stop trying to earn what you already are. And something sacred begins to rise. This is your awakening. Every return begins with awakening. You were born with all the worth you'll ever need. Your connection to Source is eternal. You are never truly separate. You never have been. You were only taught to feel that way because they didn't know better. Separation isn't who you are. It's what you were programmed to believe. And now you're remembering you are not broken. You are not lost. You are not too late. You are coming home to you. So breathe. Let the snow settle. Feel the truth beneath all the noise. This is just the first step, and the first step is everything. Welcome back to you.